Democratic strategist Julie Roginsky ripped into CNN's Scott Jennings, writing a scathing post on her Substack that she says will probably get her banned from CNN. Roginsky made regular appearances on the network and has clashed with Jennings several times.
Now, she aired out all her grievances against the conservative commentator in her Substack piece on Sunday, writing in part, quote, "The problem is not that Jennings is a Republican.
Sure.
The problem is how he behaves, what he contributes, and what his presence signals about what CNN now tolerates. On air, Jennings does not debate, he blathers. He talks over women with particular frequency, interrupts relentlessly, and treats panel discussions as contests of volume and obstinacy?
Yes.
Look at that. Rather than obstinacy. Rather than as an exchange of ideas. She continues, CNN executives know this. They see the segments and receive the feedback. They understand the pattern, and yet the network continues to book him, elevate him, and protect him. The message it sends is unmistakable. Decorum is optional. Accuracy is negotiable. And if you are loud enough, management will treat you as indispensable. Roginsky also claims there are several women who have not been invited back onto CNN after, quote, embarrassing Jennings on air, suggesting that Jennings uses his influence to essentially get the women banned from the network.
Okay. Roginsky's post drew strong reactions from left-wing and right-wing commentators online. Radio host Chris Segal responded, writing, "Scott's mean to girls is the best you've got if you're not invited back on CNN. It's probably for the same reason you're not invited back on Fox. You're not that good at it."
But defense attorney Julius Kim says, quote, "Great article and needed to be said. I've appeared on CNN numerous times and haven't watched CNN in over a year because they have lost their way."
Oh, no. So sad.
I know you love Scott Jennings.
I do.
I'm probably going to throw people off a little bit over here, but I watched an interview with Abby Phillips maybe like a week ago, and somebody was asking her, because she's getting a lot of criticism for her show. Like, I know she probably has a lot of say in it, but CNN developed it out and then provides her the opportunity. And so people were like, well, you platform conversations instead of like having this civilized grown-up dialogue, and you have people arguing across the table. How is that helpful towards getting to the meat of potatoes of what's actually happening in our country and getting down to it? And she says, well, if you're referring to, because they were pulling out clips like Scott Jennings, she's like, you have to remember 77 million people voted for President Trump. And so I would assume that a large majority of those people agree with a lot of the points that Jennings is making. And so him not being represented there does not help us get to some conclusion, because these people still exist in our country. And whether you agree with them or not, dialogue is needed. Like, this is what happens when you go home and disagree with someone politically, but still want to have some kind of understanding. And not every time, the clips that go viral, people need to understand, are the ones where people are yelling or Anna Navarro screaming. But that's not how the show goes most of the time. And also, Anna Navarro is a paid CNN contributor. Scott Jennings is a paid CNN contributor. So when somebody's complaining about why CNN keeps bringing them back, well, they're on payroll. It's actually their job. Like, you know, when I worked for News Nation before I worked here, you have a minimum amount of times you have to show up on throughout the week if you're a paid contributor. You can't not do that or you don't get paid.
Right. So there are so many false notions in Roginsky's Substack post. First, the idea that Scott Jennings is like uniquely or very aggressive and loud and abrasive does not jive with all of the appearances I've watched. He usually waits his turn to chime in. Yes, they have a go back. He doesn't, you know, cable news.
He definitely makes a face, or like,
he makes faces, but cable news is a dance of, you know, it's hard to interject. If you've got 5 people, you interject. You want to make sure you don't just get talked over. But if you're excessively cutting people off, it's not fair. It's hard to do. He is not more so than anyone else cutting people off or talking over them or shouting them down. He's certainly not doing it to women more than men. I'm sure he's done it on occasion where he just talks over somebody because you get worked up. Everybody, Anna Navarro does that. Everybody does that. That's par for the course. He doesn't do it to women more than anyone else. I saw a clip of him utterly destroying Cameron Kasky, that 25-year-old dude, not a woman. He does that to everyone. He rolls his eyes, because it's amusing. He's a very eloquent articulator of the conservative Trump position, the actual conservative Trump position. What CNN used to have on was a bunch of never Trump Republicans in name, but who all hate Trump and are now respected and beloved by Democrats. That's still the case on MSNBC, where like Nicole Wallace counts as a Republican. Is insane. And
but
Joe
people,
and
stop.
On CNN, it's different, and they've done a good job catering to different opinions.
But just because you don't want to acknowledge that there's still a traditional conservative exists, like Michael Steele, he's also on MSNBC or MS Now, and he used to be the former head of the RNC.
Not representative of a single
he might not be
Republican
representative of the MAGA base, but what happened to all the Republicans that were like George W. Bush Republicans?
They became Democrats.
No, that's not true.
No, they did.
Some people still truly believe in especially fiscal responsibility. So you cannot vote Democratic sometimes if you feel that strongly on it. So maybe these people became independents, but you're not convincing me that all these people that loved Bush are now Democrats. Like, I just don't believe that.
Well, a lot of them loved Bush and now love Trump. But people who loved Republican policies, loved a lot of Bush's foreign policy, nation building, that whole thing. Those people are all for the most part Democrats now. Bill Christ, they're founders of the Bulwark and other news publications like that. They're ex-Republicans turned Democrats. Who else is Dispatch too? That's another one of them. On and on and on. So these people they're not representative of. They're just not like a lot of actual card-carrying Republicans out there who hate Trump and want to see him fail and against everything he does. You're right that there's a variety of opinion. There are Republicans who disagree with Trump on this or that. There are a lot of people who voted for him for the first time, who voted for him this time, who are not Republicans and don't love everything he's doing. But that's a different category. And they deserve a voice too.
Right. And Scott Jennings, and Abby had to tell him this one day on air. She's like, you don't get paid by the administration. Like, you don't have to defend this right now. And he's like, "What?" I'm not, like, he got a little flustered going back and forth with her. But it's like, every time, like, you have been good at this. I feel I've been good at this. If something is wrong, it's wrong. Right is right. And so you have to be able to just say that sometimes. And I'm not saying in certain situations he always makes the wrong call, but it seems like no matter what, he's going to be blindly allegiant. I know that's his job, right? Mm-hmm. That's his role on the show. But sometimes you have to just look with clear eyes and say, that's not, like, you can say, okay, putting an auto pen picture of Biden up there, a pen, it's not appropriate. It's like childish. DHS harassing people that don't want to be involved with their music or their entertainment or anything they create, and then being attached to DHS social media and kind of mocking the immigration situation, that's not appropriate. Like, you have to be able to say that.
Yeah, I mean, you
can still
can or
MAGA.
you can't. This is what I do. I'm less so than Scott Jennings. I'm a libertarian. I didn't vote for Trump. I'm an independent. I voted for the Libertarian Party. So I defend Trump when he's implementing things that are in accordance with my ideology, like when he brought in Elon Musk to, destroy vast swaths of the government. I'm like, yep, I can defend this. This is great. When he implements tariffs, I don't agree with that, so I'll criticize it. Yeah, that's my.
I think I'd like to
standpoint.
see a table that has a little bit more like balance. Like, everyone doesn't have to be like completely in line with Trump, and there doesn't have to be 4 Democrats against Scott Jennings or 3 or 4. I think to have somebody with a nuanced perspective that maybe doesn't like the antics, but like some of the particular policies of Trump, plus Scott Jennings might have a more developed conversation at the table. But Scott Jennings brings ratings. That's obvious. I mean, CBS is allegedly going after him. He obviously brings ratings for CNN. So there's some merit to this argument.
He gets people to watch and talk about CNN. I mean, that's quite an accomplishment. They gave him a radio show. Like, even CNN's audience was hungering for something other than the liberal perspective. I think that's illustrative. And I think Abby Phillips has done a good job bringing that show along and bringing in genuinely dissenting perspectives. Our friend Batya has been on that show a lot, and others. So I actually applaud what they've been doing with Scott and with other people. And he's yelled at so many different people.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, he does yell at everybody. So.
And she's like, oh, they won't invite me on after this. Well, I
hope they do.
I don't know.
Yeah, I hope they do invite her back. But also, like, bashing a company probably is not gonna get you anywhere.
Well, yeah.
When you want to work for them, that's not gonna really work out. So.
I have to enjoy Substack after that. Well, we got a lot more to talk about on Rising. Stay with us.